One sector which is anxiously waiting to learn how it will be affected by Brexit is the veterinary profession. Vets trained in the other EU states make up a significant proportion of those working in the UK, especially in roles related to public health. But the British Veterinary Association has warned that the uncertainty about what will happen to immigration rules after Britain leaves the EU is already affecting recruitment. Our Home Affairs correspondent Andy Davis has the story.
This is Charlotte. She's 28, from Belgium, part of a small army of vets from the continent upon which this UK industry has grown increasingly reliant. She moved here a few years ago and now works for a large animal practice in Dursley in Gloucestershire. Enjoying it?
Yes, very much, yeah. Lovely country, lovely countryside, lovely people. Yeah, enjoying it very much.
Do you want to stay?
Yeah, I have no immediate plans to go back. Maybe in the faraway future I would go back, but no immediate plans at all.
Do you think you're going to be allowed to stay after the UK leaves the European Union?
I hope so. I try not to worry about it at all, actually. We'll see what happens.
Over the years, the British veterinary scene has developed a distinctly European look. In Charlotte's practice, we met Martin from the Netherlands, Vlad, a recent arrival from Romania. 13 vets work here, 8 different nationalities. In fact, of the 23,000 vets currently in the UK, nearly 6,000 graduated from other EU states. In recent years, more than half of newly registered vets have come from outside the UK, and the vast majority of those from other EU countries, 200 from Spain in 1 year alone. Why do you employ vets from outside the UK? Are there just not enough here?
The primary reason is I haven't been able to source vets within the UK willing to do the job.
Matthew Pugh has a practice in Hereford. Of his 14 vets, 1 is Spanish, 1 Bulgarian, and 3, like Ovidiu, are Romanian.
I think we have to advise them.
His job, testing mostly for bovine tuberculosis. The government won't yet guarantee residency rights of EU citizens currently in the UK post-Brexit, until similar assurances for Britons in other EU countries are given. But this ongoing uncertainty is proving deeply unsettling at this practice for both employer and employee.
I desperately need to know what's ahead of me. I desperately need to know that I can continue to recruit vets from the EU, and more importantly, hopefully, I can continue to employ the vets I've got currently employed.
So your message to the Prime Minister?
Well, Mrs. May tell us what's going to happen with us, and we need to hear some plans about that, to know how to plan our lives. It's very stressful to live like that, to thinking what's going to happen tomorrow with me. Do I still have the right to be here or not? That's not a life, and it's not fair, because we are doing a very good jobs and very difficult jobs, actually, in this country.
When Ovidiu first came to the UK, he worked as a vet in an abattoir, checking that the animals were fit for slaughter and the meat thereafter was fit for consumption. There are vets across the UK working in critical public health roles like this. And what's startling is that according to the British Veterinary Association, in the UK meat hygiene sector, more than 90% of the vets are thought to have graduated overseas. The Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons and British Veterinary Association are so concerned, they wrote recently to the Prime Minister, warning that any immigration restrictions in their area could have a profound impact. Even before Article 50 is triggered, we're experiencing a negative impact on the existing veterinary workforce, they said, adding, those involved in public health critical roles are having increasing difficulty recruiting much-needed EU veterinary surgeons.
You're always a bit nervous with his previous history.
John Blackwell has experienced that firsthand. Earlier this year, he recruited a Croatian vet who'd been living in Ireland into his clinical practice in Shropshire. It was before the referendum.
Everything was going swimmingly. He was married, his wife and young son were working in Ireland, and the idea was that once he'd finished his schooling, the young son, he was going to come over and the family were going to move and put down the roots. And then, of course, we had the Brexit vote, and I was surprised, but it totally destabilised him.
The Croatian vet turned down the job and went back to Ireland. Numerous vets are now reporting difficulties recruiting, we were told. If you were back in Belgium now, looking to move abroad to work for the first time, would you choose the UK as a potential destination?
Probably not, because I would be worried that the UK is not a very welcoming country. I know that's not true because I live here now and everyone's very nice and always been very welcoming. But if I didn't know the UK very well, I'd be very worried to come over here.
And that is one reason why some employers here are so worried. Charlotte remains optimistic her status will be assured. And today the government said the Prime Minister has been clear she wants to protect the status of EU nationals already living here. But this is an industry, like others, where clarity on Brexit seemingly can't come soon enough.